Chosen one. This moment is not random. You were drawn here by divine appointment, aligned by the hand of heaven itself. Before you pressed play, the Spirit was already stirring within you, whispering that something sacred was about to unfold. This is not just another video, it is a prophetic summons. You are standing at the threshold of your Kairos moment, the appointed hour, when what was delayed begins to move, when what was hidden begins to be revealed. You've been asking why the waiting has felt so long, why your prayers seemed unanswered, but heaven says the vision is yet for an appointed time. As it is written in Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 3, "Though it linger, wait for it. It will certainly come, it will not delay." Chosen. 1. The delay was not denial, it was divine design. God has kept you covered, reserved, refined, and prepared for a supernatural unveiling that begins even now. The timing is perfect, the alignment is here. The atmosphere around you is shifting as heaven declares now is the time. Open your heart, anointed one. This word will awaken something in you that has been waiting to rise. The appointed season of your transformation has arrived. Chosen one. Pause for a moment and breathe. You are not watching this by accident. The Spirit drew you here because heaven has something to say, something that will make sense of the years that felt like silence. The season you've called loneliness is not punishment. It is a sacred assignment, a divine setup for the kind of unveiling that changes everything. You have been chosen to carry something weighty, something luminous. That's why your journey has looked nothing like theirs. While others were running toward connection, God was calling you into consecration. He was protecting you from counterfeits, from entanglements that would have drained the oil He placed on your life. The world says you are behind, but heaven whispers you are right on time. From the very beginning there was a mark on your spirit, a seal of divine purpose. Even as a child you sensed it. You never fit into the rhythm of ordinary people because you were never meant to. There's always been this quiet awareness inside of you that your story would unfold differently, that your love, your calling, your destiny would not be rushed. And though you've questioned it deep down, you know it's true. This season of being single isn't a pause, it's preparation. The Spirit has been training you for the next dimension of your mission. Every unanswered text, every door that closed, every love that faded wasn't rejection, it was redirection. Heaven has been rerouting your heart away from distraction and toward divine focus. Let's be real for a second. It hurts, doesn't it, when everyone around you seems to find someone, build a home, and move into what looks like happily ever after. It stirs questions in your heart. You wonder, God, why not me? Am I missing something? But the truth is, you're not missing anything. You're being molded into someone who can carry what others can't. Your future isn't delayed, it's being constructed with precision. You see, relationships are not casual to heaven, they are spiritual contracts. When two souls unite, their destinies intertwine, and because your destiny is so rare, God could not afford to let the wrong hands touch it. Even a kind-hearted, well-intentioned person can still misalign your purpose if they are not assigned by God. That's why it didn't work out, not because you weren't enough, but because heaven intervened. I know this because I've walked through it myself. There were times I thought I'd found the one. Times I felt peace until suddenly everything collapsed. I didn't understand back then. I cried, questioned, wrestled with God. But now looking back, I see His mercy in every ending. He wasn't withholding love from me. He was preserving the version of me that could fulfill His will. Chosen. 1. You're not in waiting, you're in training. God is refining your discernment, teaching you to see beyond charm, attraction, and appearances. He's awakening your spiritual senses so you can recognize what is truly from Him. That's why your spirit reacts differently now. You feel unease when someone's energy doesn't align with your purpose. You sense when a connection isn't pure, even if everything looks perfect on the surface. That's not paranoia. That's spiritual sensitivity. That's the mark of someone being prepared for a higher covenant. And hear this clearly, God isn't just preparing you for marriage. He's preparing you for movement, for influence, for miracles, for purpose. Your singleness is not the absence of companionship. It's the presence of divine concentration. While others chase love, you are learning to host heaven. And that, my dear anointed one, is holy ground. By the time this season is complete, you won't just attract someone who sees your worth. You'll attract someone who matches your purpose, someone whose prayers align with yours, someone heaven designed to run beside you, not behind or ahead. Until then, embrace the quiet. The quiet is where you hear God most clearly. This solitude is not silence, it's instruction. It's where your identity is being reforged, your heart is being purified, and your discernment is being sharpened for what's next. Chosen one, this is not rejection. This is resurrection. Heaven has hidden you not to punish you, but to preserve you. Chosen one. There's a reason why you felt unseen, overlooked, or even invisible in certain seasons. What looked like rejection was really divine protection. God has wrapped you in a veil of spiritual covering because what you carry is too rare to be exposed prematurely. You are not just a person walking through life, you are a vessel of light, and heaven takes great care in protecting its vessels. There are times when you felt like no one noticed you, when your kindness went unreturned, your interest unreciprocated, or your presence misunderstood. You wondered, why do connections keep fading? Why does no one seem to stay? But what if I told you that invisibility is a form of insulation, that the same God who hid Moses in the cleft of the rock is the one who has hidden you until your appointed unveiling? Relationships, whether romantic or platonic, are not just exchanges of affection. They are exchanges of energy, sacred currents of spirit and influence that shape the atmosphere of your soul. When you link your life to another person, their habits, their wounds, their thoughts, and their spiritual essence begin to merge with yours. This is why heaven cannot allow just anyone to gain access to your energy field. The oil upon your life, that unseen anointing that causes you to shift atmospheres, must be guarded with discernment. I've experienced this in my own walk. There were times I allowed the wrong people too close, people who smiled with their lips but carried heavy shadows in their hearts. And after spending time with them, I would feel drained, confused, distant from God. My dreams grew dim, my peace felt fragile. I thought it was just emotional fatigue, but now I know it was spiritual leakage. I was pouring light into broken vessels who were never meant to hold it. Chosen one, that's why certain relationships in your life ended suddenly. You might have thought it was your fault or theirs, but it was neither. Heaven saw something you couldn't, an unseen imbalance, an energy mismatch, a hidden agenda that even the other person might not have been aware of. And in His mercy, God shut the door. When you are called to carry divine assignments, not everyone can touch you. Some will be drawn to your light because they sense healing in your presence. Others will be drawn because your energy feels like medicine to their wounds. But there are also those, yes, even well-meaning ones, whose spirits are incompatible with your mission. The enemy sends some of them not to destroy you outright, but to distract, to drain, or to distort your focus. That's why in this season, God has positioned angels around you, guardians that block connections not meant for your journey. Every no, every silence, every unreturned message may have been a supernatural shield. The path of the chosen is narrow because their purpose is precise. And when your calling carries eternal weight, heaven cannot risk contamination. You've probably felt it before, that strange sense of resistance when you tried to pursue someone. Everything looked right on paper, but it just wouldn't move forward. That wasn't coincidence. That was God's firewall activating. You prayed for protection, and this was the answer. Your spirit is a powerhouse, and your energy is currency in the unseen realm. Every conversation, every act of kindness, every prayer you release spends from that sacred account. God wants to make sure you spend it wisely. This is why you're learning discernment, not to isolate yourself from love, but to recognize who is truly meant to walk beside you. You've been hidden, yes, but not forgotten. Hidden, but heavily guarded. Hidden, but being refined under heaven's hand. And soon, when the time is right, your light will emerge stronger, brighter, and untouchable by those who once drained it. So, don't curse the solitude. Thank God for it. The very isolation that once made you ache is the reason your energy is pure, your anointing intact, your destiny undiluted. This is your cocoon season, and you are about to emerge radiant, chosen one. The refinement you are walking through right now is not meant to destroy you. It is meant to define you. The silence, the isolation, the unanswered prayers, they are not signs of abandonment. They are the sound of heaven forging something eternal within you. Every time you felt broken, misunderstood, or unseen, God was refining your spirit in the fire of preparation. The chosen are not made in comfort. They are sculpted in pressure. You see, before gold can shine, it must endure the heat. Before a diamond can reflect light, it must be crushed and purified. That's what this season has been, not punishment, but purification. You've been crying out for a greater calling, for supernatural expansion, for divine connection, and heaven's answer came in the form of solitude and stretching, because God cannot place heavy blessings on a spirit still burdened by the weight of the past. He had to empty you before He could fill you. I remember my own wilderness season. Every door seemed locked. Every opportunity slipped through my fingers. I watched others step into relationships, promotions, and answered prayers while I sat in the quiet, questioning what I had done wrong. But over time, I realized God was not withholding. He was protecting the purity of what He was building inside me. He was teaching me to depend on Him alone, to trust His voice when nothing else made sense. That's what He's doing for you right now. In this fire, He is revealing parts of you that you didn't know were there. The impatience, the fear, the self-doubt, the desire for validation. He exposes it, not to shame you, but to heal you. Because what you refuse to face, you cannot conquer. Singleness has given you the sacred space to face yourself and meet God in the center of your heart. No distractions, no masks, just truth and transformation. The solitude has been the mirror, and in that mirror, God is showing you who you really are, not who the world told you to be, not what your past relationships reflected, but who you were before the world tried to dim your fire. He's bringing you back to your original design. The you that walks in wisdom, peace, and holy confidence. The you that no longer begs for belonging because you know you are already chosen. And yes, refinement hurts. There are nights when you wonder if you're doing something wrong, if you've missed a turn somewhere. But every time you cry out, heaven records it. The fire is not evidence of God's absence. It's proof of His investment. He disciplines, molds, and stretches those He intends to trust with much. There's a secret about refinement that few talk about. It births power. It burns away pride and produces clarity. It teaches you to listen to the still, small voice instead of the loud opinions of the crowd. It grounds you in patience and purifies your motives. And most of all, it teaches you emotional maturity, how to love without losing yourself, how to serve without seeking approval, how to stand alone and still feel whole. Chosen one. When this fire is finished, you will not look like what you've been through. The version of you that will emerge is stronger, wiser, and radiant with divine authority. This is the transformation that precedes promotion. God cannot elevate what has not been purified. So don't despise this furnace. Don't curse the isolation. Every hidden season is a gestation period for greatness. You are not being delayed, you are being developed. And when the refining is complete, every tear, every test, every lonely night will make sense. You will thank God for every no, for every delay, for every heartbreak that brought you closer to His presence. Because this fire, chosen one, is your anointing being awakened. And when you emerge, your presence will speak what words never could, that you were built in the flames and forged for the light. Chosen one. One of the greatest reasons heaven has kept you single is because you were chosen to end what others refuse to confront. You are the one anointed to break the patterns that have haunted your bloodline, the silent battles, the generational wounds, the cycles of broken love, betrayal, and survival. You were sent to bring closure to what began long before you were born. It's not that you're unlucky in love. It's that your spirit refused to repeat what was never healed. God saw the pain that ran through generations, the mothers who settled for less because they feared being alone, the fathers who couldn't stay because they never healed their own wounds, the families built on dysfunction and silence. And He said, enough. He looked down the line and marked you the one who would rise, heal, and rewrite the story. You've likely noticed that your standards are different. The things others tolerate you can't stomach. The compromises that used to look harmless now make you uneasy. That's not arrogance, that's discernment. It's the Spirit of God within you saying, no more. You are not meant to inherit the curses of your family. You are meant to establish new covenants. Breaking these cycles has not been easy. It has required you to walk alone, to confront shadows, to heal wounds you didn't even cause. You've had to unlearn what love looks like. You've had to let God redefine intimacy, loyalty, and trust. And every time you said, "This ends with me," heaven recorded it. Every prayer you've whispered through tears has been building a new foundation for those who will come after you. I remember praying one night, asking God why I kept meeting the same kind of people in different forms. He told me, because you are still healing what they represent. Each connection was a mirror showing me a wound I hadn't yet surrendered. And when I finally let go, not with anger, but with peace, I realized freedom begins where forgiveness takes root. That's what God is teaching you. You are being healed from things your ancestors endured in silence. You are releasing patterns that have kept generations bound. Every boundary you enforce, every standard you uphold, every temptation you overcome, it all reverberates through your lineage like thunder in the spirit. Your obedience is echoing forward in time, blessing your future children, your spiritual descendants, and even those who mocked your waiting. This is why the warfare has been intense. The enemy doesn't fight what isn't a threat. He's been trying to exhaust you, make you doubt, make you settle, because he knows that once you walk into covenant alignment, the curse is permanently broken, but he's already lost. Every tear you've cried has been baptism water for a new beginning. Chosen one. This is not just your story. It's a generational story of redemption. The moment you said yes to healing, you became a gate closing the old and opening the new. When your kingdom partner arrives, your love will not just be romance, it will be ministry. It will model restoration, honor, and purity to everyone who witnesses it. You are not just waiting for a partner, you are preparing to birth a legacy. The family that comes from you will not know the chaos you grew up in. They will inherit peace because you paid the price in prayer. You are the bridge between what was broken and what will be blessed. So hold your head high, anointed one. You are not behind, you are ahead. The foundations you are building will outlive you, and one day when someone asks how you did it, you'll smile and say, God kept me single until the curse broke. Chosen one. There is a sacred reason why heaven has kept you alone for this long. It is not a coincidence. You are walking through a divine solitude, a hidden chamber where God refines his prophets, his builders, his visionaries, and his reformers. While the world interprets solitude as emptiness, heaven calls it incubation. This is where your greatest assignments are being conceived. You may not realize it yet, but there are blueprints in your spirit, ideas, revelations, and missions that could not have been planted in the noise of constant companionship. God knew that if he surrounded you with too many voices, you would lose the clarity of his whisper. So he cleared the room, not because he wanted you lonely, but because he needed you laser-focused. The work he's birthing through you is delicate. It requires precision, sensitivity, and total obedience. This is what I call the holy silence. It's not the absence of sound, but the presence of divine instruction. When you learn to embrace it, you begin to realize that the stillness is filled with strategy. God is downloading insight, direction, and divine timing into your soul. Every time you think you're doing nothing, heaven is doing everything. Some assignments cannot survive the presence of divided attention. That's why the relationships that once distracted you had to end. Every unfinished project, every delayed dream, every postponed calling, they're coming back now, not as failures, but as sacred reminders. The things you set aside for others are being resurrected in this season. God is saying, this time, finish what I gave you. I know what it feels like to be in this kind of solitude. I remember waking up one morning and feeling like the whole world had moved on without me. Everyone seemed busy building families, buying homes, creating futures while I was just waiting. But in that stillness, God whispered, "You are not waiting, you are becoming." And those words changed everything, because becoming is sacred work. It is the process that prepares you to carry what others cannot sustain. There are divine projects tied to your name. Books that need to be written, messages that need to be spoken, businesses that will shift nations, movements that will awaken generations. If God had sent your partner too early, your focus would have split before your foundation was solid. He's not depriving you, he's developing you. Think about every prophet in Scripture: Elijah in the cave, Moses in the desert, John in the wilderness, even Jesus spending 40 days alone before the miracle began. Each of them was separated so heaven could synchronize their assignment. You, chosen one, are no different. The wilderness has been your classroom. The quiet has been your training ground. The nights you spent praying instead of sleeping. The mornings you woke up heavy but obedient. These are the signs of one being prepared for divine partnership with heaven itself. You might not see the full picture now, but years from today you'll look back and realize that everything you built in solitude was the very thing your future partner was waiting to join. You'll see how every skill, every revelation, every season of stretching was forming the foundation for your shared mission. For now, understand this: not all love stories begin with romance. Some begin with revelation. God is aligning you with purpose before He aligns you with people. Because if you enter the next season still unclear about your calling, even the right person can become a distraction. So guard this solitude with reverence. Don't rush to escape it. The same solitude that now feels heavy will soon become holy. It is here that your spiritual ears are sharpening, your creativity is awakening, and your confidence in God is being fortified. Chosen one. This isn't punishment, it's preparation for a partnership that serves heaven. When the time comes, you and your kingdom partner will not meet as two lonely souls seeking completion. You will meet as two fulfilled vessels, overflowing, ready to build together. Until then, stay faithful to your assignment. Because everything you build in this solitude, every prayer, every idea, every act of obedience will become the inheritance your union stands upon. Chosen one. Now we step into the mystery of timing, the part of your story that has tested your patience and refined your faith more than anything else. You have prayed, waited, surrendered, and still the question lingers. When God? When will it happen for me? But heaven wants you to hear this clearly. The delay is not a denial. It's a design. God's timing is not measured in minutes or months. It's measured in maturity. He's not preparing a moment. He's preparing people. Every delay has been synchronizing two destinies, yours and your future partners, so that when you finally meet, you won't collide in confusion, you'll merge in purpose. Your partner is not just someone to share affection with. They are a mirror of your mission. When you come together, heaven will use your union to demonstrate alignment, peace, and power. But such partnerships cannot be rushed. If either of you enters too early, the connection will crumble under the weight of premature expectations. That's why God has slowed the process, not to torment you, but to perfect you. You see, divine unions require divine maturity. That's why you've had to learn patience in prayer, strength in solitude, and faith in silence. God is teaching you to trust His rhythm. He's orchestrating something so intricate that one wrong move could disrupt the masterpiece. Every door that didn't open, every person who walked away, every false start was heaven saying, "Not yet, I'm still writing." I've seen this truth unfold in my own journey. There were seasons where I thought I had met the one only for it to fall apart in confusion. I thought I was cursed. I thought maybe I had missed my chance. But later, when I met the person truly aligned with my spirit, I realized the difference immediately. It wasn't striving. It wasn't guessing. It was peace, the kind of peace that silences fear and confirms that heaven has spoken. That's how divine timing works. It removes striving. When God's alignment arrives, there will be no chasing, no forcing, no endless analyzing. Conversations will flow. Connection will feel familiar, like recognizing someone your soul already knew. The timing will confirm itself because everything about it will carry divine ease. Chosen one, I know the waiting hurts. You've watched others get what you've prayed for, and sometimes it feels like God skipped over you. But He hasn't. The waiting season is where He is preparing you both to handle the weight of the blessing. The relationship He's writing for you is not just about love. It's about legacy. You will not simply hold hands, you will hold heaven's blueprint together. Understand this, God is not late, He is strategic. He's protecting you from people who look like answers, but are really distractions. The enemy sends almost right to delay what's truly divine. That's why you must guard your heart, not out of fear, but out of wisdom. Stay aligned with your assignment, and you'll attract alignment itself. One day soon, everything will shift. You will meet them not in striving, but in flow. Not through luck, but through divine appointment. The moment will feel like prophecy fulfilled. Every lonely night will make sense. Every unanswered prayer will feel like it was leading to this very connection. And when you stand before them whole and ready, you'll whisper within your heart, "Now I understand why God made me wait. Until then, keep building, keep healing, keep shining." Because when the appointed time arrives, as written in the spirit of Ecclesiastes chapter 3 verse 1, "To everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under heaven. Your time. Chosen one is not lost. It's on schedule, and it's coming faster than you think." Chosen one. This season you're walking through right now is not idle time. It's not a pause in your destiny. It is a sacred classroom where heaven teaches you how to build, how to balance, and how to bloom before the world sees the harvest. God has trusted you with this time because He sees in you the potential to multiply what others would waste. You are in a stewardship season, the art of managing divine time wisely. Everything in this moment has purpose. Every sunrise, every quiet evening, every conversation you have with yourself in the stillness is shaping who you are becoming. You've prayed for more, but before God gives more, He trains you to handle now. Stewardship is proof that you are trustworthy. Heaven releases blessings at the rate of your responsibility. If you can master this moment, you will master the future God is preparing for you. The first lesson of stewardship is intimacy with God. This is your time to know Him deeper than you ever have before. Without the distraction of another person's voice, you can finally hear His voice clearly. He's been speaking in whispers through dreams, through quiet nudges, through the scriptures that suddenly come alive in your hands. The reason He has kept your circle small is because He wants your focus large. He wants your heart uncluttered so your discernment can sharpen. In this season, let prayer be your anchor. Don't just talk to God, commune with Him. Make your mornings altars and your nights resting places in His presence. You'll start noticing that His peace becomes your new normal. That peace is the sign of alignment. It's what prepares you to walk in purpose without anxiety and to love without losing yourself. The second lesson of stewardship is purpose discovery. Too many people waste their single years waiting instead of working. But this is not waiting time. This is building time. God has placed gifts within you, spiritual, creative, and practical, that He expects you to develop. What burns in your spirit, what dream keeps showing up in your prayers, that is your divine clue. Start moving toward it. Start the business that's been sitting in your notes. Finish the book idea that keeps whispering at night. Record the song, launch the ministry, design the blueprint, share the message. This is the season where heaven gives acceleration to builders. When you start moving, you'll notice doors opening that had been closed for years. That's not coincidence. That's the favor of obedience. The third lesson of stewardship is healing. You cannot carry old wounds into a new covenant. Many of your past connections, even friendships, were pruning tools, divine appointments meant to reveal what needed to be healed. Instead of resenting them, thank God for the mirror they provided. Ask the Holy Spirit to show you the roots of every fear, every resentment, every habit that sabotages your peace. Healing is not just emotional, it's spiritual housekeeping. God can't fill a cup that's already full of yesterday's pain. The fourth lesson is purity, not just of body, but of mind, speech, and energy. Guard your atmosphere like it's gold. Protect what you watch, what you say, and who you allow near your peace. Purity preserves power. Every time you choose alignment over attention, heaven deposits strength into your spirit. This discipline will sustain you when blessings come, because what you learn in isolation becomes your foundation in abundance. And finally, the fifth lesson, gratitude. Gratitude shifts perspective. When you thank God for where you are, He trusts you with where you're going. Every thank you releases favor. Every act of contentment multiplies capacity. When you look around and appreciate what you already have, the roof, the food, the health, the breath, you're proving to heaven that you recognize the value of divine provision. Chosen. 1. The way you handle this single season determines what comes next. Don't spend it scrolling through comparison. Spend it sowing into your calling. Don't waste your words on complaints. Use them to create. You are not waiting for life to begin. You are already living it. Your stewardship is prophecy in motion. Every moment you choose obedience over distraction, you are building the soil for your future family, your ministry, and your legacy. When the right one arrives, they won't meet someone half-formed. They will meet someone whole-focused, radiant, and already walking in purpose. And when that day comes, you will look back and whisper to yourself, "It was worth it." Chosen one. Look at how far you've come. The pain that once made you question God's plan is now the very evidence of His presence in your life. You've walked through silence, surrender, and refinement, and now heaven is whispering, "It's almost time." There is a shift happening in your spirit even now. The waiting you thought would never end is beginning to feel lighter. That's not your imagination, that's alignment. God wants you to know that not one tear was wasted. Every sleepless night, every lonely moment, every unanswered prayer was building something unseen. You've been under construction, not forgotten, but formed. He has been polishing your character, stretching your patience, and increasing your capacity for the blessings you asked for. Because what's coming is not ordinary, it's kingdom-sized. In this sacred hour, heaven is moving pieces behind the scenes. The one who is meant for you is being refined just like you. Right now, in another city, in another timeline of obedience, they are being taught to pray, to wait, to lead, to listen. And when the divine clock strikes, your paths will cross like two rivers, merging into one current, unstoppable, graceful, and ordained. But before that meeting comes manifestation. You are entering a season where heaven rewards obedience. Promotions that were delayed will be released. Finances that were locked up will suddenly flow. Dreams that felt impossible will start aligning themselves into reality, because when God restores, He doesn't give back what you lost, He multiplies it. I know you've grown weary. You've said, "God, I've done everything I know to do. When will I see it?" But remember, faith is not waiting for evidence. It is the evidence. The fact that you're still standing is proof that grace never left you. And the fact that you're still believing is the reason heaven hasn't stopped building. You are stepping into the fulfillment of divine timing. Doors will open not because you forced them, but because they recognize your anointing. The rooms that once rejected you will now make space for you. People who doubted you will watch God vindicate you without a word of revenge. You are walking into a season where your preparation and heaven's promise finally collide. And when it happens, it will feel like breathing after holding your breath for years. There will be no striving, no guessing, no confusion, just peace, pure, undeniable peace. The peace that comes when heaven says, "Now," your partner, your calling, your provision, your purpose. They are not separate stories. They are chapters of the same divine book. And the author has never missed a deadline. He's aligning everything, even your heartbreaks, into a masterpiece of timing and transformation. So, chosen one, do not give up now. This is the final stretch before the unveiling. Keep your oil full. Keep your heart open. Keep your faith fierce. Because what's coming will require you to recognize your worth and walk boldly into it. You won't chase it. It will find you. You won't question it. You'll know. This is your prophetic reassurance. You are not behind. You are right where God needs you to be, on holy ground, in divine rhythm, under supernatural construction. Every delay was mercy. Every disappointment was redirection. Every no was heaven whispering, "Not yet, my child, I'm still perfecting it. And now the work is almost done. The season is turning. The wind is shifting. The blessing is near. Chosen one, stand tall. Heaven has written your story, and soon the world will read it. When it unfolds, it will not just change your life, it will awaken everyone who witnesses it to the truth that waiting on God is never wasted. Your miracle has been set in motion, and when it arrives, you will finally understand this was never a delay. It was divine design. Chosen one. The most powerful shifts in your life rarely come with noise. They come quietly in the stillness between seasons, in the silence where heaven speaks through movement unseen by human eyes. Right now, even as you watch this, you are being transformed in ways you can't yet measure. The change is already happening, though it may not have announced itself. You are walking through what I call the silent transformation, the sacred moment before revelation. Heaven often works in layers. First, God works in you, then He works through you, and finally, He works for you. The stage you're in now is internal. This is the hidden garden where God plants the roots of the person you are becoming. You may not see fruit yet, but trust that the soil is alive with divine activity. The Spirit is tilling, watering, pruning, preparing your inner world for a harvest that cannot be stolen. Many people mistake silence for absence, but you, anointed one, must learn to discern stillness as strategy. There are some blessings that can only be built when no one is watching. Just as an embryo forms in darkness before it ever breathes air, your destiny is being formed in secret before it takes visible shape. That's why you've felt isolated. Heaven wasn't ignoring you, it was protecting what was incubating. Do you remember how Jesus grew in wisdom and stature before his public ministry? That growth happened in private. No audience, no stage, no validation, just obedience and divine timing. The same principle governs your life right now. Your hidden season is holy. It's not delay, it's incubation. The butterfly cannot be seen until the cocoon has completed its work, and the same is true for your spirit. I know you've felt the ache, the tension between knowing you're meant for more and not yet seeing it manifest. You look around and feel the pace of life moving without you. But heaven's calendar is not human. You are not behind. You are becoming. The things you've been praying for, the financial breakthrough, the relationship alignment, the new doors are all waiting for one thing, your readiness. And readiness is being forged in silence. I've lived through this kind of transformation. I've had seasons where God stripped away everything, familiar relationships, opportunities, even identity, until all that was left was Him. At the time, I thought I was losing everything, but in truth, I was being emptied so I could finally be filled with what mattered. In that emptiness, I found strength. In that silence, I discovered identity. And that's what's happening to you right now. You are not being punished. You are being purified. Every hidden moment is shaping the spiritual muscles you will need to carry the weight of the next season. The solitude you endure now will become your sanctuary later, because when the spotlight finally comes, you will not crumble under it. You will stand steady, anchored in truth, clothed in wisdom, radiant with grace. This is how God prepares his generals in secret. He tests them in silence so they won't need applause to confirm their calling. You are one of them. That's why the noise stopped, why the people left, why the doors closed. Heaven wasn't subtracting, it was simplifying. God is removing distractions, refining desires, and fortifying your focus. Chosen one, your transformation is nearly complete. The version of you that's emerging carries a new frequency, divine authority, magnetic, peace, holy, confidence. When people encounter you in this next season, they won't even recognize you. They'll sense something different, power in your presence, clarity in your words, light in your eyes. That's not coincidence. That's the residue of the cocoon. So, don't rush the silence. Don't curse the stillness. Let God finish his masterpiece. When the unveiling comes, and it will, you will see that this hidden work was the most important work of all. The transformation is almost done. The revelation is next. Chosen one. Heaven is preparing to unveil what it has been building within you. For so long you have been hidden in plain sight, unseen by many, misunderstood by others, yet known intimately by God. This next chapter will be the divine revealing of everything you've endured in private, the pain you carried, the patience you practiced, the prayers you whispered when no one was listening. All of it was sowing for this moment. When God unveils, he doesn't do it halfway. The reward for your endurance will not come as a whisper, it will arrive as a divine announcement. The same way he elevated Joseph from the prison to the palace overnight, he is about to shift your position suddenly. One moment of divine timing can redeem years of waiting. One connection, one door, one opportunity can launch you into a new dimension of favor. This is what heaven calls the prophetic reward, when endurance meets alignment and your preparation meets its appointed time. You have been faithful in the hidden season. Now, God is ready to reveal the fruit of your faithfulness. What's coming is not just breakthrough, it's overflow. This is not survival. This is reign. I want you to imagine this. Everything that once resisted you will now recognize you. People who dismissed you will see your glow and wonder what changed. But you'll know the truth. The light was there all along. They just couldn't see it because you were still in process. You're stepping into a season where your light will no longer be concealed. Heaven is pulling the curtain back. But hear me, chosen one. This unveiling isn't about applause or validation. It's about assignment. God doesn't elevate for ego. He elevates for impact. You're not being promoted just so you can be seen. You're being positioned so you can serve. The influence he's about to give you will draw people not to your name, but to his. And that is why he took his time with you. In this unveiling, you will notice divine acceleration. Things that once took years will begin to happen in weeks. Ideas that stayed dormant will suddenly bloom. The same solitude that once felt suffocating will become the source of your strength. People will call it sudden favor, but you'll know it's the result of silent obedience. I've felt this shift personally. There came a time when doors that had stayed locked for years suddenly opened without explanation, not because I changed my strategy, but because heaven changed my season. I realized then, when it's your time, no force can hold you back. When heaven says now, the earth must respond. That's what's about to happen for you. Chosen one, your now is approaching. The waiting room is closing and the stage is being prepared. You are walking into rooms your name has already been spoken in. You are stepping into divine partnerships, financial release, and supernatural favor that will feel almost unreal, but it's real and it's yours. This is the moment where you see what faith was really building. But even in your elevation, remember the posture of humility. Keep your oil pure. Keep your heart clean. The same solitude that built you must stay with you as stillness in your spirit, because this unveiling isn't the end, it's the beginning of your divine influence. God will use your story to awaken others who are still in the waiting. So stand tall. Lift your chin. You are about to see prophecy unfold before your eyes. You survived the pruning, the silence, the stretching, and now you will taste the fruit of promise. The wilderness season is over. The revelation season has begun. Chosen one, step into the light. Heaven has already called your name. The unveiling is here, and nothing can stop what God has ordained. Chosen one. This next part of your journey isn't just about being revealed, it's about being released. Heaven is not merely unveiling who you are, it's activating what you carry. You have been prepared for this moment since before you were born. The very air around you is shifting because the mantle you've been trained for in secret is now resting upon you. You're not just walking into a new season, you're stepping into assignment. What you've endured was not random. The heartbreaks, the betrayals, the loneliness, every fragment of your story has been forged into a divine instrument. And now, God is about to play the melody of your purpose through it. You are not stepping out of the wilderness empty. You're coming out carrying revelation, compassion, authority, and an anointing that costs more than gold. This is why you've always felt things more deeply than others. You weren't fragile, you were sensitive to the spiritual climate because of what you were destined to steward. You've cried over people who wronged you, you've prayed for those who mocked you, and you've forgiven when others would have sought revenge. Heaven saw it all. That compassion wasn't weakness, it was training for your mantle. You've been entrusted with empathy that carries healing. When Joseph was elevated, he didn't use his power to punish those who hurt him. He used it to feed them. You're being positioned in the same way. What's coming to you, the platform, the influence, the authority, isn't for ego, it's for service. You will be called to feed nations in ways only your obedience can. Whether it's through your words, your art, your leadership, or your ministry, what flows from you will carry heaven's frequency. This is the season where your pain becomes prophecy. Every wound becomes a weapon of healing. You'll look back at your old journals, your old tears, and realize they were the blueprint of your destiny. The places where you felt most rejected will become the arenas where you are most respected. God redeems in patterns. He turns every valley into a gateway of victory. You're also stepping into a realm of divine influence. Doors will open not because you chased them, but because you were prepared to walk through them with grace. People will sense something different about you, not charisma, but presence. The peace you carry will draw the weary. The strength in your silence will inspire the lost. Without saying a word, your life will begin to preach. I remember the first time I experienced this shift. After years of obscurity, people began asking me for advice, seeking guidance, sensing something in me I didn't even recognize yet. It was humbling, and it reminded me influence is not about followers, it's about faithfulness. The more faithful you are with what God gave you, the more heaven entrusts to your care. So, chosen one, stay grounded. The spotlight is not your validation, it's your assignment. Keep your secret place alive. Continue praying when others stop. Keep fasting when no one sees. Keep giving when it's inconvenient. These are the practices that will sustain your mantle when the weight of influence increases. You've carried the cross in silence. Now you will carry the crown in purpose. But remember, the crown is not decoration, it's delegation. It represents divine responsibility. You are being trusted to represent heaven on earth. Every word you speak, every decision you make, every act of kindness you show will ripple far beyond what you can see. This is the birthing season of your divine mission. Everything behind you has been labor. Everything ahead of you will be legacy. You've cried long enough, questioned long enough, waited long enough. Now heaven says, push. The mantle is descending. The purpose is alive. Chosen. 1. It's time to rise. What's been forming in silence is now ready to breathe. Chosen. 1. As heaven prepares to release you fully into purpose, there's one more mystery that must be revealed, the sacred partnership designed for your destiny. You were never meant to walk this journey alone forever. The same God who refined you in solitude is now aligning you with divine companionship, not for comfort, but for covenant. Your partner, the one heaven is preparing for you, is not coming to complete you. They are coming to complement what God already perfected within you. Two whole, healed souls meeting at the crossroads of purpose, that's what kingdom love looks like. This union will not drain you, it will multiply you, it will not distract you, it will deepen your mission. But before heaven unites you with that person, you had to learn to stand alone. Because only when you learned that you are already enough did you become ready for someone who reflects that same truth. This relationship will not be a competition of strengths, but a synchronization of callings. You will pray together, build together, and carry together what neither could hold alone. I've seen this pattern in my own life, the way God introduces divine partnerships only when the heart has learned surrender. Before that, every connection was striving. After that, every connection became peace. When you meet the one ordained for you, there will be no guessing, no chasing, no fear. The same spirit that speaks to you will confirm them, and they won't interrupt your peace, they'll protect it. You will know it's divine when their presence draws you closer to God, not away from Him. You'll know it's kingdom when both your assignments begin to intertwine effortlessly. This is not a worldly relationship. This is a prophetic alliance. The two of you will function as living proof that love, when rooted in heaven, multiplies miracles on earth. But understand, this divine partnership is not the finish line. It's the foundation for generational legacy. What God is building through you will extend beyond your lifetime. Every boundary you enforced, every prayer you prayed, every demon you fought, all of it was clearing spiritual territory for those who come after you. Your future children, both natural and spiritual, will inherit peace because you broke the cycle of pain. Heaven wants you to see beyond the wedding day and into the divine mission. Together, you and your partner will model balance, integrity, faith, and generosity in a world that glorifies chaos. You will be light, not through perfection, but through presence. The glory resting on your union will be a silent sermon. People will sense God in the way you speak to one another, in the way you forgive, in the way you serve. And even if that person hasn't appeared yet, trust this: the same way God orchestrated your refinement, He is orchestrating their readiness. Somewhere right now, they are walking through their own process, praying prayers that mirror yours, learning to hear the same voice you've come to trust. When the timing aligns, you'll recognize each other not by appearance, but by atmosphere. You've waited, chosen one, not in vain, but in faith. The wait wasn't about withholding, it was about preparing. Because when you finally come together, heaven won't just celebrate, it will release. The union will open portals of purpose, blessings, and influence that will touch generations. So remain steadfast. Keep building, keep praying, keep glowing. The same hand that wrote your wilderness is writing your wedding. The same God who taught you to stand alone will soon show you how to walk together. And when it happens, when your eyes meet theirs, your spirit will know this is the one I was refined for. You'll feel the confirmation in your peace, the alignment in your purpose, and the blessing in your timing. Chosen one, heaven is faithful. What's coming next is not just love, it's legacy. And the story God is writing through your life will be read by generations yet unborn. Chosen. 1. Once you've walked through the wilderness, survived the silence, and embraced the solitude, something extraordinary happens. You begin to live in rhythm with heaven. You stop rushing. You stop grasping. You stop panicking when doors don't open right away. Instead, your spirit starts to move in harmony with divine timing. That is where you are now, in the flow. When you're in divine flow, life no longer feels forced. The same things that used to frustrate you now build your faith. You begin to understand that God's delays are not denials, they are divine detours that protect purpose. The moments that once felt like rejection reveal themselves to be redirection. Every pause, every delay, every not yet becomes a confirmation that heaven is still in control. I remember when I first learned to live in that flow. I used to fight everything, timing, people, outcomes. I thought I needed to make things happen, but the more I pushed, the more peace I lost. Then one day in prayer, I heard a whisper, "Be still and watch me align what you could not arrange." From that moment, I began to notice how the right opportunities appeared without striving, how the right people showed up when I stopped chasing. That's the miracle of divine flow. It begins where your forcing ends. You, chosen one, are entering a season where what you've prayed for will start to come to you. Not because you've stopped working, but because your work is now aligned with heaven's rhythm. You're not chasing favor. You're walking in it. You're not begging for open doors. You're standing before them. You're not trying to convince others of your worth. God is revealing it in undeniable ways. When you move in divine timing, the world begins to respond differently. Your steps become ordered. Your words carry more weight. The same places that once rejected you now make room for you. The same people who didn't see you before suddenly recognize the light on your life. This is what happens when you stop moving by fear and start flowing by faith. But here's what's crucial: you must stay sensitive. Divine flow requires surrender. If you try to take control again, you'll interrupt what heaven is orchestrating. Stay patient when the pace slows, and stay humble when the speed increases. Timing is not just about what God is doing for you, it's about what He's shaping in you. Think of a river, steady, purposeful, powerful. That's divine timing. It doesn't rush yet. It always reaches its destination. You don't have to swim against it. You just have to stay within it. Let God's current carry you into every promise. He knows exactly when to release each blessing. There's a verse written in the spirit of Isaiah chapter 60 verse 22. When the time is right, I, the Lord, will make it happen. That's the essence of this season for you. God will make it happen. You won't have to manipulate it, explain it, or force it. Your only job is to remain available, obedient, and at peace. And peace, chosen one, is your new confirmation. The enemy thrives on chaos, but God confirms through calm. When you sense stillness in your spirit, that's the signal that you're in alignment. When you feel pressure, confusion, or restlessness, step back and let the current correct your course. You've already proven your faith in the waiting. Now God is inviting you to demonstrate your faith in the walking. Walk slowly, walk confidently, walk with your hands open and your heart listening, because what's coming next won't be built by your strength, it will flow through your surrender. This is divine timing at work, and you, chosen one, are finally living inside it. Chosen one. Before heaven releases the full overflow, there is always one final test, not to break you, but to confirm you. This is the moment before manifestation, the quiet tightening of the spirit before the sudden release. You can feel it, can't you? The air around your life has changed. The atmosphere carries anticipation. It's like creation itself is holding its breath for what's about to unfold. You are in the threshold season, the space between prophecy and performance. This is where God watches to see if you'll remain faithful, even when the promise feels close, but not yet visible. It's like standing before a door you know is about to open. You can hear the sound of the latch turning, but he whispers, "Hold still." This is not a delay. It's a divine calibration. Heaven is ensuring that when the door opens, you have the capacity to sustain what's on the other side. You see, blessing without preparation leads to burnout. But you're being positioned for endurance. During this final stretch, everything you've learned is being tested: your patience, your discernment, your humility, your gratitude. God wants to see if you can remain steady under pressure, if you can keep serving while unseen, if you can celebrate others while your breakthrough still brews beneath the surface. These moments are the polishing of your crown. I've felt this pressure before, the frustration of being so close, yet not quite there. I used to cry out, "God, why are you holding it back?" And he said, "Because I'm not just preparing the blessing, I'm preparing you to hold it." That's what he's doing in you right now. He's anchoring your character so your calling won't collapse. Chosen one. The blessing is heavier than you think. The level of favor coming to you will draw attention, some pure, some not. That's why you're learning discretion. You're being trained to walk with power, but speak with peace. To move with authority, but stay humble enough to kneel. To shine brightly, but keep the oil private. This is the posture of those who carry kingdom wealth, spiritual, emotional, and financial. Yes, financial. There's a transfer happening, a supernatural rearrangement of resources. The wealth you need for your mission is being positioned in your direction. Contracts, opportunities, connections, they are shifting even now. You won't have to beg. They'll come find you. Because when you've proven faithful with little, heaven trusts you with much. But before overflow comes ownership. God is teaching you how to manage blessing before he multiplies it. Steward your finances, protect your peace, guard your relationships, use wisdom in your words, because this next season will not just elevate you, it will expand your influence, and expansion requires structure. This is also the time to release what no longer fits. You cannot carry excess baggage into a season of overflow. Old mindsets, small thinking, unnecessary distractions, let them go. If something or someone drains your spirit, it's not a sign to your destiny. Every no you say now makes room for a greater yes later. Chosen. One, heaven is not testing you to frustrate you, it's testing you to certify you. The promise is prepared, the stage is set, the oil is ready. God just wants to see that your heart remains anchored in him as he pours. When the overflow hits, and it won't just bless your hands, it will refresh your lineage. Generations will eat from the fruit of this final obedience. You are the fulfillment of someone's ancient prayer. The faith that your ancestors sowed is now blooming through your life. So breathe. The waiting room is turning into the birthing room. The pressure is proof that you're moments away from delivery. Heaven is leaning in. The angels are watching. The oil is about to overflow. Chosen one. This is the final preparation, the test before triumph, the silence before the sound. Stay ready, stay rooted, stay radiant. Chosen one. You have reached the final chapter of this sacred journey, the moment heaven has been preparing you for all along. Everything that felt delayed, denied, or dismantled was never punishment. It was prophecy in motion. Every tear was recorded, every prayer was heard, every lonely night was witnessed by the eyes of the one who never left you. And now, after all the refining and realignment, heaven whispers, "It is time." This is the hour where destiny stops being a concept and becomes your daily reality. The preparation is complete, and what once felt distant is about to unfold before your eyes. You are not being hidden anymore. You are being released. Released into purpose, into prosperity, into partnership, into peace. You've carried the weight of waiting with grace, and because of that, heaven has deemed you trustworthy with what's next. I want you to take a deep breath, chosen one, because this is the moment where everything shifts. The atmosphere around you has already begun to respond to your obedience. The silence that used to frustrate you has turned into confirmation. The resistance that tried to break you was actually the friction that sharpened you. You were not standing still all this time. You were being positioned. Look carefully. Signs of divine fulfillment are everywhere. Doors that once felt sealed are now opening effortlessly. People who once ignored your presence are now being drawn to your light. Opportunities that seemed impossible are now aligning without you having to push. This is not coincidence. It's alignment, the visible manifestation of invisible faith. Heaven has synchronized your steps with the rhythm of divine timing. For so long, you thought God was preparing the blessing for you. But now you see the truth. He was preparing you for the blessing. The harvest doesn't come until the vessel is ready to carry it. That's why he had to strip you, rebuild you, and shape you in solitude. You weren't being punished. You were being perfected. When I came to this same threshold, I remember feeling both awe and fear. The peace was so still, it almost felt unreal. I kept waiting for the next test, the next delay, the next struggle. But then God spoke gently, "You've passed the wilderness exam. Now step into the promise." It was then I realized fulfillment feels quiet because chaos no longer has permission to speak. And that's where you are now, chosen one, in the stillness of victory. You've spent years cultivating faith, and now you will see fruit. The ideas that once seemed too big will begin to take shape. The prayers you whispered through tears are about to echo as answered promises. The same places where you faced rejection will soon host your redemption. God never forgot you. He was writing a story that would silence doubt and glorify his name. And here's the mystery: the fulfillment won't come with thunder or spectacle. It will unfold naturally, beautifully, almost silently, like dawn breaking after a long night. One door after another will open. One confirmation after another will appear. You'll look up and realize that you are living inside the promise you used to dream about. But chosen one, this is not the time to relax. It's the time to remain rooted. Every blessing carries responsibility. Every increase demands stewardship. Do not forget the lessons you learned in the wilderness: humility before applause, gratitude before gain, and obedience before opportunity. The posture that sustained you in obscurity must remain even in overflow. Guard your peace. Protect your energy. Remember that not every invitation deserves your presence. The next level requires discernment more than effort. God will elevate you to spaces where your anointing will draw attention, but only humility will keep you there. Continue to move in silence when needed. Stay close to the Spirit that guided you through every shadow. This next season is not about survival, it's about expansion. You are stepping into generational impact. The prayers of those who came before you are converging in your lifetime. The doors you open will remain open for those who follow. You're not just walking into a promise, you're establishing a legacy. Every yes you gave God is now echoing across time, breaking curses and birthing blessings you may never fully see. And yes, abundance is coming, financial, spiritual, relational. But understand, wealth in the kingdom is never just about having, it's about hosting. You are being trusted to host heaven's abundance on earth, to use it to uplift, to build, to heal, to serve. The favor you are stepping into is not just yours, it's a divine trust fund assigned to your obedience. So as the door opens, step through with reverence. Don't question if you're ready, heaven wouldn't have released it if you weren't. Don't shrink back out of humility. Boldness is holy when it's anchored in purpose. Walk as the one who has been refined by fire, not defined by it. The world is about to see what heaven already knows, that you are chosen, capable, and crowned for such a time as this. Chosen one. This is the completion of your preparation and the beginning of your reign. You were hidden for preservation, not punishment. You were refined for revelation, not rejection. You were delayed for alignment, not denial. And now the hour of fulfillment has come. The promise is alive. The gates are open. The blessing has your name on it. Lift your head, breathe, smile. You've made it through the storm, through the silence, through the shaping, and now all that's left is glory. The delay is over. The waiting is finished. The promise is here. Chosen one. This is the sacred moment where revelation meets reality, the moment heaven confirms what your spirit has already known all along. You were never forgotten. You were being prepared for divine partnership, divine purpose, and divine power. The season that once felt like silence was actually God's symphony in disguise, each pause, each delay a note of strategy in his perfect composition. Right now, heaven is shifting the atmosphere around your life. A supernatural transfer has begun. The same hands that withheld are now releasing. The same doors that once resisted are now unlocking in alignment with your faith. You are standing in your kairos moment, your appointed time, the intersection where divine timing collides with your readiness. This isn't just about love or companionship. It's about legacy, alignment, and elevation. God didn't just keep you single, He kept you sacred. He set you apart so that when the unveiling came, no one could question the oil you carry. Chosen one, you've walked through fire and did not burn. You've endured pruning and did not break. You've waited in silence and did not lose faith. Now heaven is rewarding your restraint. This is not the end of waiting. It's the beginning of manifestation. You will begin to notice divine coincidences, faces, reappearing doors, reopening, and confirmations that feel almost too specific to ignore. That's heaven saying it's time. So as you leave this message, leave it with your heart wide open. Expect acceleration. Expect alignment. Expect encounters that feel like prophecy fulfilled. You are entering a season where peace will be your confirmation and purpose will be your compass. The very solitude that once felt heavy will now feel holy, because the waiting season wasn't meant to break you, it was meant to brand you with identity. Chosen one, you are ready. Ready to love without losing yourself. Ready to give without being drained, ready to walk beside someone who doesn't just admire your light, but understands your mission. The time of divine companionship is near, not born of striving, but of synchronicity. You'll meet what matches your spirit, not your fear. You'll recognize what's meant for you, because it will not compete with your peace. Before this moment ends, take a breath and whisper, "I'm ready." Because when you declare readiness, heaven responds. And as you go forward, may you walk with divine assurance. May your steps be ordered, your spirit remain clear, and your heart stay open to the supernatural unfolding of God's promise. If this message has confirmed something deep in your soul, speak it into existence. Type 777 in the comments as a prophetic act of agreement, not as ritual, but as remembrance. And if your spirit feels stirred, share this word, so another chosen one can awaken to their own divine timing. Go now in peace, anointed one. The heavens are open, the oil is flowing, the promise is alive. This is your time, your divine unveiling, and it begins now.